So finally, I want to show you basically 3 different ways that you have to lock down your tweets or any of your resources so that other people can't mess with other people's tweets, and logged out people can't create a tweet or edit other people's tweets, for example. And then we can get to the end of the week and customizing this to however we want. So one problem so far is I'm logged in right now, and I can see links to edit other people's tweets, which is not good, or destroy. Even though they don't work, like this user example, I could click edit and I'm going to get an error. But I could still see the link. And also, I probably don't want to see an error. I probably just want to have a little message that says, sorry, you can't edit this person's tweet, or something like that. So the first thing is I can actually go into my views, and I can hide these links if I'm not supposed to be able to see them. So the first is that my new tweet link, I want to actually hide it when I'm logged out. So here I go to tweets, I can still see it. So here's my new tweet link, and I can wrap this in if user signed in, which is basically what we did before. And then we need an end. So now this will only show up if the user is currently signed in. OK, pretty cool. Now I'm going to fix this little button because it's been bothering me for a while. Basically, if you go into your Devise Views application layout, you see the sign up button. It has the classes button, button primary, and nav link. Actually, if you get rid of the nav link and save it and refresh, then your button shows up much brighter. And this is what it's supposed to be. It was gray before because it had the wrong class on it. OK, sorry, my OCD was getting to me. OK, so now we got rid of that new thing link, but we probably want to have the same thing here under edit and destroy, although it should actually be that you should only be able to see these links if you are the owner of that tweet. So it's a little more complicated to do, but it could still do it pretty easily. And it would go a little something like this. Inside of here, I have a tweet. So I'm going to check, is the tweet's user equal to the current user? So in Rails, this is how you check if 2 things are the same. You put on the left-hand side something and on the right-hand side something, and if they're the same, it comes out to true. And I need to put an if in front of this. So that's just like we did down here. If the tweet's user equals current user, then I show these links. And I can close that. And I'm going to tab these in because the tabbing helps you realize that these 2 things are inside of this if statement, which starts here and it ends here on the same line. So that's a little more helpful. So now, do you see? I'm not logged in, so those disappeared. If I sign in as my user, and I go back to tweets, cool. I have the edit link and the destroy link only for the ones that belong to me, and the other ones, I don't have that. So I can go in and I can edit those. Nice. Now there's a few other things that you'll probably want to do, because you can still, of course, go here and try to edit some, one that doesn't belong to you. And in this case, I don't want to have this error. This is kind of like an ugly error message. I want it to actually just say, this tweet doesn't belong to you. And in the other case also, if someone tries to create a new one, they could still somehow guess the address. So we're going to lock it down inside of the controller as well. Really quick, actually, before we do that, I forgot to get rid of the edit link on the show page as well. So I can still see it if I click show here, edit. So just go into edit and make sure it's not anywhere else. Yeah, it should just be on the edit page. I think it's actually, it's on the show page. And we want to wrap the edit link here as well. So the same code as we did on the index page, but in this case, it's @tweet instead of tweet. And I'll show you why in a second. Tweet.user equals current user. Show them this. And then outside of here, you end, and then tab this guy in. So now I'll only see that on the ones that I own. And the reason this is an @tweet instead of tweet equals user is because outside of here, all we have access to is the tweet variable, and because that's what came in our tweet controller in the show view, @tweet. But in the index, we had @tweets, and then @tweets, we actually do this loop over. And so inside of the loop, each one of these is called a tweet, but this doesn't have an @ sign in front of it. So here we don't use the @, but here we do, because we're not looping over anything larger. We just got one tweet out instead of a number of tweets. So the @ sign is really just necessary for when you're passing things between your controller and your view. But if you're doing something like a loop inside of a view, you don't use the @ sign right there. So yeah, next up, let's get into the controller a little bit so we can lock down our tweets even further.